Welcome to Employee Relations Words of Wisdom, your source for all things human resources and employee and labor relations. Hi, I'm Bob Carroll. I'm the Executive Vice President and Permanent Solutions Labor Consultants, and I'm your host for today's episode of Employee Relations Words of Wisdom. Before I get started, as always, remember to hit the subscribe button down below, then hit the little bell icon. The bell icon will allow us to notify you when fresh content becomes available. I'll wait a few seconds. All right, done. Okay, Boomer, let's have a conversation. So what is OK Boomer? I just learned about OK Boomer last week when I was having a conversation with my 13-year-old daughter. And my 13-year-old daughter responded to me after I was having one of my parental lectures about how she needs to take things a little more seriously because she has been gifted with so much in her life. She has straight A's. She is excelling in competitive sports, has a great personality, a great group of friends. And I'm explaining to her how this is going to, and she's in 8th grade, how in 8th grade she should start thinking about how to apply that towards getting into the college that she wants to go to, and how now is the time to start preparing with her habits. And during my parental lecture, I was stopped with, "Okay, Boomer." And I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course, I'm not an idiot. I knew she was referring to the baby boomer generation, but I didn't quite understand the phrase. I asked her to explain what it was. She goes, "You're just not woke." I'm like, wow, I'm talking 2 different languages with my 13-year-old now. I'm not woke. What is she talking about? And then I do what a good dad does, and I want to know what my child is talking about. And I Googled the phrase "OK Boomer," and boom. It's all out there, all over the internet. I'm talking, there's memes out there. They're selling T-shirts, sweatshirts. Fox has even put in for a trademark to syndicate a possible TV show called OK Boomer. Wow, this thing's huge. It's gone viral. And I did a little more research and found out that this has been going on for a while now, unbeknownst to me. So if you haven't heard the phrase before either, don't worry. You're not the only one. And I did my research and found that it is a battle cry for millennials who are pushing back against older generations who just don't see things the way millennials see things. And millennials are getting fed up and tired with older generations telling them how they should think and how the world ideals should be. And that was the start of OK Boomer. I can tell you a couple of instances that I found just briefly before starting this podcast. In New Zealand, there was actually a woman named Chloe Swabrick. Hope I got that right. Chloe Swabrick, who serves in the Green Party in New Zealand, that was having a debate with another member of parliament, and she shut him down with the phrase "OK Boomer." William Shatner had his take on OK Boomer when he put a tweet out and was met with OK Boomer after his tweet. And William Shatner came back and he saw the humor in it, obviously, with "Sweetheart, to me, that's a compliment." And he was referring, of course, he's actually older than the baby boomer generation, and was making light of it. And I'm thinking, wow, this could have some impact in the workplace, because I'm thinking baby boomer generation and ageism. So I did a little more research, and sure enough, there's a few articles already out on how this can potentially become a problem in the workplace. Recently, there was someone that works in radio put a tweet in I believe the Buffalo area, somewhere in New York, put out a tweet that compared OK Boomer to the new N-word. Now, I think that's taken it way too far. I think, obviously, we all know using the N-word is way worse than calling somebody boomer. There's a lot more history behind that. But it can still be, both can still be offensive in the workplace. And it hit me. I don't think people are going to take this seriously enough, but it can lead to some potential liability. And let's talk this through. We have protected classes. You can't harass or judge somebody or treat somebody differently if they fall under the protected classes. And we all know the protected classes. I mean, you get your sex, your sexual orientation, your age, your weight. And age is the one I'm focusing on here. That can really become a problem when the millennials are using that as a way to poke the bear towards people in the working environment that are up there in the years. Now, you look at what is the age for the protected class. I am under that protected. I'm not even 50, and I'm in a protected class. It's 40 and up. So, and I've actually found some humor in this when my daughter said it to me. It didn't offend me in the least. But you can bet that there are going to be some people that are fed up with the millennials that are going to want to push back. And yes, what do people do when they are treated wrong? So say a manager, a younger manager, a hot shot, does a great job, is working with another manager. And they don't get along or they don't have the right idea. And, the younger manager feels that this older manager just isn't woke. And Google it, you'll see what I mean. You got to be woke and so you're not a boomer. And maybe I'm just not woke yet. I'm working on it. I want to be woke. But then the guy responds, the younger manager responds with, okay, boomer. And it irritates the older manager. Okay. And then it goes on. Okay, boomer, okay, boomer, okay, boomer. You're an old this, you're an old that, you're a relic. Things that happen with ageism that we're used to, but it was predicated by the okay, boomer comment. That actually puts you in a position where you are potentially liable for allowing ageism to happen in the workplace. So as an employer, you've got to be aware of okay, boomer. That sounds crazy, but you have to be aware of it because you don't want to be on the receiving end of a lawsuit because it's not going to be the person that says, okay, boomer, that's getting sued, well, potentially, but it's not going to be. It's going to be you as an employer for allowing that behavior to happen, just like any other behavior that is in your handbook to protect the protected classes. So what do? I've been asked so many times in my consulting career, how do we deal with the millennials? And I answered this in another employee relations words of wisdom episode where I said point blank, you can't. The millennials are there. Generation Z is there. We, people my age and up, created the millennial mentality. We allowed them to go to the educational facilities where they were indoctrinated with the mindset that they have. That's on us. We parented our children the way we parented them. They exist because we allowed it to happen. We chose a path for the future, and this is what it looks like. Face it, that's what it is. So how do you change it? You don't. You learn to change as change happens. And okay, boomer is a phenomenon. It is a huge thing. I'm not kidding. Get on Google. As soon as you're done watching this one, hit okay, boomer. There's even a song about okay, boomer out there. It's a big deal. So what can you do? Well, it's simple. You treat it the same way you would treat any other violation of your handbook. If somebody's using the phrase, okay, boomer, in your workplace, I would suggest that you write the person up with corrective action, just like you would if they were using racial slurs, talking about somebody's sexual orientation, any kind of bias that's out there, treat it the same. Sounds silly, but I'm telling you, as the change keeps happening, and it is continuing to change, Remember, following the millennials, we got the Generation Zs coming in. And ironically enough, the millennials are going to be a protected class really soon. So you have to take some action, and you got to do it now. So if you hear "okay, boomer" in the workplace, this is what I know is going to happen. I've been around the block a few times. People are going to take it as the buzzword of the year and just accept it. Well, in all reality, people can be offended by it. I'm not. I have my own point of view. I don't think people should get participation medals just for participating. I think that we made a mistake with the way we raised our children. That's my opinion. See, the problem is that's just my opinion. We have millions of people working in the country, millions of opinions. Eventually, "okay, boomer" is going to become a hot topic where it's in the courtroom instead of on a meme on the internet. So that's just my take on it. I'm really curious to hear what people said because I've read a few articles from a few legal articles and a few articles from business magazines on "okay, boomer" and exactly what I'm talking about right now. I am curious to know what you think. I'm curious to know, did you even hear the phrase before? How unwoke was I? Am I woke now? No way. Do I want to be woke? Well, I want to understand the millennial generation the best I can. I want to use strategic empathy with them. I want to connect with them. I want to teach leaders how to connect with them. I do that quite a bit in the work that I do. It's just understanding that there is a different mindset out there. And once you do that, you can connect. See, millennials, they want to work. They want to do a good job. Yeah, they'll jump from job to job to job. That's what they're doing. But when they work, they work. I have a millennial daughter. When she works and works very, very hard. And in my travels around the country and dealing with different businesses and working up close with the managers, supervisors, and employees, the millennials, they work. They just have a different sense of belonging, a sense of entitlement than what I grew up with. It's different and it's change. So just like REO Speedwagon, REO Speedwagon, the boomer rock band REO Speedwagon once sang, you got to roll with the changes. And that's exactly what we got to do to be careful with this "okay, boomer" thing. So with that said, remember, hit subscribe and then hit the bell icon so that we can let you know when our next episode is up and running. Until then, I'll see you next week. Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot. Look here. How about we do this? For watching the video, we'll give you a 10% discount on any of our training classes, including our Leadership Edge and our Union Awareness training for supervisors. Both incredible classes in demand around the country. Just use the promo code Words of Wisdom, and we are going to run that special from today until the end of the first quarter in 2020. So with that said, we'll see you next week on Employee Relations Words of Wisdom. Thank you.